In this video, we'll learn how genetics determine biological sex, and we'll look at how X-linked traits are inherited. So first of all, biological sex is determined on chromosome number 23. Biological males, we say, are XY, meaning they get an X chromosome from their biological mother and a Y from their biological father. And then females are XX, where they get an X from their mother and an X from their father. I just want to point out some exceptions to biological sex. So on the previous slide, we said XX is biological female and XY is biological male. However, I want to point out that all 8 billion people on this planet aren't going to perfectly fit into one of those two boxes. So sometimes during meiosis, those chromosomes or chromatids don't pull apart exactly how they should, and we would call that non-disjunction. And so we do have some variation in those sex chromosomes. Okay, so again, normal female is XX, normal male is XY, but sometimes those chromosomes and chromatids don't pull apart, and you might get X0. So this is called a Turner's female who just has one X chromosome. Or you might get like a Klinefelter's male who's XXY. Okay. So again, I just want you to take away that not every single human is going to fit perfectly into this XXXY box. So now let's just look at some differences between the X and the Y chromosome. So the X chromosome is larger, and all biological sexes have the X chromosome, whether it's male or female. So the X chromosome carries a variety of genes for both males and females. The Y chromosome, on the other hand, we only see in biological males, and so it mainly has genes for male characteristics. And since females get 2 X chromosomes, whereas males only get 1, one of the X chromosomes stops working in females, and whichever X stops working is completely random. So this is called dosage compensation or X inactivation. Calico cats make a really great example of X inactivation. So calico cats, they are mainly female. Okay. And so places that we see like the black fur developing, this is where they had the X chromosome turned on that carried the gene for black fur. And then places where we see the orange fur developing, this is where that X chromosome with the gene for orange fur was turned on. So today we're going to look at sex-linked traits. And so these are going to be genes that are found only on the X chromosome. So they're not going to be found on the Y chromosome. And so what we're going to find out is X-linked alleles always show up in males because males only have one X chromosome. So the first example we'll look at is color blindness. So again, biological females are assigned XX. Okay. Biological males are XY. So a biological female who's unaffected, doesn't have color blindness, is going to be X big B, X big B, which means she's going to inherit normal, full color vision from both her biological mom and her biological dad. Okay. Heterozygous females are still XX. You get a big B from one parent, so normal sight, and a little b from the other parent, which is color blindness. However, since you have the dominant trait to see normal, this female has normal vision, meaning she's not colorblind. And then finally, a female who is colorblind would have to be X little b, meaning she would have to inherit color blindness from both her biological mom and her biological dad. And then let's look at males. So again, males are XY. An unaffected male is going to be X big BY, meaning he's going to get normal color from his mom, and then he inherits the Y from his dad, which doesn't have a gene for color blindness. So as long as mom passes down the gene for you can see in full color, then this male sees in full color. And then an affected male would be X little by, meaning he would inherit color blindness from his mom, and again the Y from his dad, which doesn't carry a gene for color. So as long as he has one little b, then this male is affected, which means he'll be colorblind. So now we're just going to practice writing genotypes. So we're going to write the genotype of a female who is not colorblind. So females are XX, and then if she's not colorblind and not a carrier, she's going to be big B, because she gets normal vision from both parents. Now we'll write the genotype of a female who is colorblind. So again, female is XX, little b, meaning she has to get color blindness from both biological mom and biological dad. And then we're going to write the genotype of a female who is a carrier or heterozygous for color blindness. So again, the female is XX, and if she's a carrier, she's going to get normal vision from one parent and color blindness from another. Now we'll write the genotype for a male who is colorblind. So remember, males are X, Y, and if it is colorblind, X little b. Okay. And then notice nothing on the Y. There's no gene for colorblindness carried on that Y chromosome, so it doesn't get a superscript. And then the genotype for a male who is not colorblind. So again, males are XY, and if he's not colorblind, it'll be capital B for normal vision. All right, so now we're going to do our own Punnett squares. So a colorblind male marries a female carrier for colorblindness. What's the probability they'll have a child who's colorblind? Okay, so again, we're going to draw a Punnett square, and this is the small one, so just a 2 by 2. Okay, so a colorblind male, so remember the male is X, Y, and if he's colorblind, he's little b. And he marries a female carrier. So female is XX, and if she's a carrier, she's big B, little b. So now we'll just combine the letters in the Punnett square. So we have X, big B, X, little b, X, big B, Y, X, little b, X, little b, and X, little b, Y. Okay, so now when we look at the Punnett square, XX is the probability of these two people having a daughter, and then XY is the probability of these two people having a son. So if we look at the daughters, X big B, little b is going to be normal vision, and X little b is going to be colorblind. So there's a 50% chance their daughter will be colorblind. And then if we look at the sons, X big B, Y is normal vision, X little b, Y is colorblind. So again, 50% chance son is colorblind as well. Okay, this time we're going to cross a woman who is a carrier for color blindness and a man with normal vision. All right, so the woman is still XX, and if she's a carrier, she'll be big B, little b. And the man is XY, and he has normal vision, so he'll be big B. So top left, we get X big B, X big B, X big B, Y. And then the bottom, we get X big B, X little b, and then X little b, Y. All right, so in this case for the daughters, this one is going to have normal vision and this one will have normal vision. So there's a 0% chance their daughter will be colorblind. And then if we look at their sons, we have X big B and X little b. So 50% chance their son is colorblind. All right, so this time a couple has a daughter who is colorblind. What could the parent genotypes be? So we're going to kind of work our way backwards in the Punnett square. So if the daughter is colorblind, she has to be X little b, X little b. So that means mom has to give an X little b, and dad has to give an X little b. So we know dad for sure is going to be X little b y. And then for this one up here, it could be X big B or X little b. It doesn't matter. So then mom could be X big B, X little b, or X little b, X little b. Another popular trait that's carried on the X chromosome is male pattern baldness. And if you just look at society, think about who typically balds way more, like which biological sex balds way more than the other. And if you think about all the people you know or seen, you'll probably realize that for some reason, men tend to have more baldness than women. And so that's because it's carried on the X chromosome. So we're going to say capital B is for normal hair, and then little b is for baldness. So we're going to cross a non-carrier woman with a bald man, and then figure out what percentage of their children could be bald. So a non-carrier woman is a female, so XX, and then big B. So she's going to have normal hair. And then let's see if she's crossed with a male who's bald. So X little b because he's bald, and then Y. So they get X big B, X little b, X big B, Y, X big B, X little b, X big B, Y. So if we look here, for their daughters, they're both big B, so their daughters aren't going to be bald. And then for their sons, again, big B, so their sons also are not going to be bald. So there's a 0% chance that any of their children are going to be bald. So here's the good news. If you have a father that's bald, it's not going to necessarily determine if you're going to be bald. It has to do with your mother. So if she has the gene, even a recessive gene for baldness, maybe you can be bald, maybe not. It would also depend if your dad has that gene for baldness.